The third kind of type object in Illustrator is type on a path. I'm going to take the Type on a Path tool and click on this path here, and the first thing you notice is that the appearance attributes are removed, in this case the green stroke. You also see that I get a blinking cursor, so I'll just paste some text on this path. If I take my Direct Selection tool, you can see these vertical brackets on the path, as well as in and out ports, and these are like the ones in Area Type. I can use the Direct Selection tool to move the bracket and adjust the position of the type. I'm going to go over to my Paragraph panel and change the alignment to Centered, and now you can see that the text is centered between the left and right bracket. I can grab the middle bracket with my Direct Selection tool, and you get a little arrow on the cursor, which is hard to see right now because it's over the type, but if I grab that and drag it down, that flips the type from one side of the path to the other. Conversely, I can drag it back up to the other side. Now you don't have to use the Type on a Path tool necessarily. I can grab the Regular Type tool, and when I'm over a path, you can see that the cursor gets a little squiggly line on it, and I'll click on this path and paste my text on it. And again, I can use the Direct Selection tool to move these brackets left and right and adjust the positioning of the type. Under the Type menu are the Type on a Path options, and here you have a choice of different effects. I can click Flip in the Options dialog box, and sometimes that's easier than grabbing it with your Direct Selection tool. I can choose a rainbow effect, which is the one that you're probably going to use 99% of the time, or you can choose to skew the text, to do a 3D ribbon, a stair-step effect, or a gravity effect. And what this does is take the center of the path and use it as a vanishing point, and all of the text sort of emanates from that point. But again, 90% of the time you're going to be using the rainbow effect. You can choose to align the path to the baseline, or the center. You can see that the path is right in the center of that text there. You can align by the descenders on the text, for example the J and the Y and the Q there. You can choose the ascenders, so the letters like T and H and D that go up. But probably 90% of the time you're going to be using the baseline. Sometimes when you have type on a path, especially if the path is really curvy, you can adjust the spacing to make it look better. So far we've been dealing with open paths like this one, but a closed path can have type on it as well. If I take the Regular Type tool, however, and move over this shape, Illustrator assumes that I want to make an area type object from it. You can see that the cursor has that round dotted line on it. So what you want to do is hold down the Option key on the Mac or the Alt key on Windows, and now you can see that the cursor has the wavy line, indicating that I can click on this and turn it into a Type on a Path object. And I'll just paste my text in there. Now, why did the text end up over on the right side? Well, the answer to that question is twofold. First of all, the alignment on this text is centered, as we can see in the Paragraph panel. And secondly, since this is a closed path, an ellipse, the start and the end of it, the two brackets, are in the same spot. So if I want to center that text on the top of the ellipse, I'm going to have to move these brackets. I want to move the left bracket down to this point on the left, and I'll turn on the Smart Guides to help me align it perfectly. So when I get to that point, you can see that it aligns, and now I'm going to have to move the right bracket over to the point on the right. I have overset text, so I can select all of this text and use my keyboard shortcut Command-Shift and the less than key to reduce the point size. Type on a Path actually has more in common with Area Type than it does with Point Type, in that you can thread text from one path to the next. So if I just paste in some more text on this path, you see that red plus sign telling me that I have overset text. And just as with Area Type, I can click on that plus sign with my selection tool to load the cursor and thread that text to another path. You see that the cursor has a little paragraph symbol next to it, and be careful when you're going to another path. Right now I have the parentheses around that cursor, meaning that Illustrator will turn this into an Area Type object. So I'm going to hold down the Option or Alt key and then click on the path to make sure that this is going to be another Type on a Path object. And just like with Area Type, you can see that thick blue line telling me that these two text objects are threaded. I can still move the brackets to position my type, and I can change the shape of the paths as well. In the next video, we'll see how to get text into your Illustrator document from an external document such as a Microsoft Word or plain text file.